Breaking overnight, police are investigating the shocking deaths of legendary director Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle Singer Reiner, who were found dead in their Los Angeles home. The couple was killed, and the news sent shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond. "I know it was him who caused all of this, and even now I'm still in complete shock," Tracy Reiner said through tears in an emotional interview, as she broke her silence for the first time after the tragedy that occurred on December 14, 2025. That day marked the loss of her parents, Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer Reiner, following a devastating incident at their private home in the Brentwood area of Los Angeles. It was not only the moment a daughter lost her parents, but also the moment Tracy began to reveal painful truths behind a tragedy that left so many shaken. In a haunting conversation, Tracy revealed that her younger brother, Nick Reiner, had personally told her the reason why he did what he did to their parents. Words of confession that now echo like a warning that had been ignored for far too long. According to Tracy, the conversation that haunted her most took place in early December 2025, about a week before December 14th, at the guest house located behind her parents' home in Brentwood. At the time, Nick was temporarily staying there after a period of instability. Tracy said Nick reached out first, insisting he needed to see her urgently and speak in private. The meeting happened in the evening after a family meal, with only the two siblings present in the quiet room. Tracy recalled that Nick did not begin with apologies or small talk, but went straight to asking for money, emphasizing that it was not a small amount and that he needed it immediately or everything would fall apart. When she asked what was going on, Nick spoke about debts that had been piling up for a long time, admitting he had tried to manage them on his own and failed. He said he had reached out to many people, even old connections, but everyone had refused. Throughout the conversation, Nick appeared restless, changing posture constantly, lowering his head, standing up, pacing, and returning to the same spot as if he could not stay still. Tracy said he expressed feeling pushed to the edge and believed his family no longer trusted him, saying that people thought he would always be saved, but now no one was willing to help. His voice was not explosive, but filled with long-suppressed frustration that made the room feel heavy and oppressive. What unsettled Tracy most was when the conversation shifted to how Nick spoke about their parents. She said he referred to Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer Reiner with an unusually cold tone, as if speaking about people who had held power for too long. He said he had waited long enough and that his patience was running out. Tracy noticed him clenching and unclenching his hands, his gaze never settling, sometimes speaking rapidly as if unloading everything inside him, then suddenly falling silent and walking toward the window. When Nick abruptly stood up, lowered his voice, and narrowed the physical distance between them, Tracy felt truly unsafe. She said she did not believe he intended something specific in that moment, but her intuition was so strong that she thought about leaving immediately. At that exact moment, her phone rang. She answered, stood up, used the excuse of an urgent matter, and left the guest house without turning back or continuing the conversation. As she walked to her car, her hands were shaking, and the anxiety followed her home and stayed with her in the days that followed. She considered telling her parents everything, but with the family already under strain and Christmas approaching, she hesitated, fearing she might be overreacting. After the tragedy on December 14th, when the devastating news was confirmed and early details emerged, Tracy said every part of that early December conversation suddenly connected. She realized it was not just a failed request for money, but a clear sign that Nick was in an extremely dangerous state, both mentally and circumstantially. Tracy believes the issue was far larger, with money deeply tied to long-standing negative patterns and mounting pressure Nick had carried for many years. She said she did not see someone who changed in just a few months, but someone whose behavior began very early and repeated itself over and over. Tracy began recounting Nick's past, explaining that he was born and raised in Los Angeles, the second son of Rob Reiner and the grandson of Carl Reiner. Though he grew up with material comfort, she said he showed early signs of impulsive behavior, difficulty accepting limits, and being easily triggered. As a teenager, Nick gravitated toward unstable social circles, stayed out late, lived recklessly, and drifted away from structure. Nick later said his struggles began around age 15, not because of hardship, but because his mind was always noisy and he wanted to quiet it. From those early years, Nick's behavior escalated into repeated stays at treatment facilities across California. Tracy said the family sent him to multiple rehabilitation centers, some stays lasting months, others shorter, followed by returns home. Each time, Nick struggled to adjust to ordinary life, became irritable, and sought ways to escape boundaries. Nick admitted in later interviews that he hated being forced to settle down, saying that once he had fallen deep, his family background meant nothing. Tracy said the family heard this repeatedly and understood he was not ready to stop. Over time, Nick developed a gambling habit that began casually but grew severe. Tracy said he believed luck could change his life and erase his failures. He reportedly lost tens of thousands of dollars, borrowed money secretly, lied about its use, and reacted strongly when confronted. He often said he just needed one more chance and everything would be fine, but each attempt only deepened his debt and pressure. There were brief periods of stability, including around 2015 when Nick worked with his father on a film and spoke publicly about recovery. Tracy said those moments never lasted, and after each apparent improvement, Nick returned to the same issues at a more severe level. Requests for money became more frequent, reactions more intense, and his sense of being against the world grew stronger. Tracy described Nick's life as a cycle of falling, being pulled back up, and falling even deeper, with gambling, money, and emotional instability becoming intertwined. This long pattern placed her parents in an impossible position, forcing them to continue helping even as the risks grew. The family home in Brentwood became a center for therapy appointments, urgent decisions, and emotional strain. Tracy said her parents sought professional help early, rearranged their schedules, and prioritized Nick's safety over image. They endured emotional outbursts, supported him through long-term treatment, welcomed him home repeatedly, and never fully closed the door, even during periods of distance. Tracy said the pressure on the family was immense and compounded by conflicting professional advice. Her parents were told at times to be stricter and at other times to be more patient. Despite doubt and exhaustion, they never abandoned Nick. Over the years, the family's life revolved around keeping him safe. To outsiders, Rob Reiner remained a successful director and Michelle a composed presence, but behind closed doors, they faced a struggle with no clear ending.